Hello, Galaxy! I'm Chris Pirillo, and you tuned into another live edition of the Locker Room Daily Report, or TLDR for short. Do not be confused. This is not my daughter's YouTube channel. And yes, I guess she has one. We renamed Geek Family Fun to Jedi Pirillo over the weekend because she keeps asking to be in videos. She seems to be taking after me. That's not a surprise. She's very comfortable in front of the camera. I've always been very comfortable in front of the camera. Hopefully you're comfortable behind the camera, or maybe in front of the camera. If you are a member, I would like to thank all 86 of you who have opted to support me in that mechanism, or through that mechanism, that way. I appreciate it. Membership is easy. You just click join on any one of the YouTube pages, and you magically become a member. And then you get to be a part of the TLDR broadcasts. TLDR would not happen without you. All 86 of you. Although there are probably more people who are going to tune into this live broadcast. Today, I wanted to talk about something that is evil, incarnate, or maybe it is carnate because it actually exists. This is something that I seem to see over and over and over again, in comment threads, which I know you should never read. That's the last thing you ever want to do, is look at a comment thread, because I would say, okay, I'm going to be kind here. 50% of the comments that I see, whether they happen to be in this particular channel, on any one of my videos, or throughout social media, or let's say blogs, 50% of the commenters seem to be in a world of their own. Like, they didn't bother reading the article that they're commenting on, or watching the video that they're commenting on, for context. And this is something that I've experienced too. And this is where I think we've got, you and I possibly have this type of relationship, right? I'm talking about this, and y'all are talking about that. And I'm like, but this is what I'm talking about. And you're like, but you're not talking about that. I said, no, I wasn't talking about it. I was talking about this. And so this is another one of these conversations. Just wanted to set the stage. Chins apparently are evil. Chins. You wouldn't be able to get very far without a chin. Probably wouldn't be able to understand what it was that you were saying. I certainly wouldn't either. It took me forever to figure out what the hell people were talking about. Like, when I first heard the word chin in context to a smartphone, that's the area down here below, right? So this is my tried and true, because it has been tried and it is true, iPhone 8 Plus. And down below, you see where the Touch ID sensor is? If I reflect the right way, there's no juice in this, by the way. You never, by the way, don't ever pour juice into your smartphone. That's a free tip for everybody. The area down there is not illuminated. It'll never illuminate, because that's the chin, right? There's no screen. That's what makes all these full screen, all screen devices what they are. Effectively, manufacturers have gotten rid of the chin area, the chin. And I think they call this area up here at the top of a phone, a forehead. It makes sense, forehead, chin. Could you imagine what I would look like without a forehead or a chin? I would be all face. Kind of. It'd be a weird face. I'd be strange to look at, but you know what? We're all different. Phones are as well. So chins apparently are being eliminated. And the idea of bezels are being eliminated, right? Because they're evil. Apparently, I don't get it. This is where I'm having this conversation, right? People are like, chins and bezels need to go away. And I'm like, no, they don't. They're fine. There's nothing wrong with them. They're like, yes, but they're evil, and you need more screen. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You have plenty of screen. But bezels are evil, and chins are evil. I'm like, but they're not. And let me tell you why. So this is the conversation that, now does it make a little more sense for the people who are still listening and not commenting yet? In fact, if you are listening, a comment you have to leave right now. Toothpaste pancake has to be included in your comment, so I know you're actually listening. And I'm not done. So when I see a device that's got a chin, so-called chin, or a forehead, so-called forehead, bezels. No, I don't need to quote bezels. Bezels, the area that surrounds the screen. I'm not really. I don't feel anything. I don't feel good. I don't feel bad. I'm ambivalent. Because you know why? Because I don't use the phone for its bezels. The bezels are nice to have, as a matter of fact, especially if you're gripping it. And I didn't realize how important that was until Jedi started futzing with, the LG V30 last year, and she kept accidentally, granted, her hands are small. She was a 3-year-old. My hands are not exactly the largest in the world, but I've certainly been, put off by accidentally touching a side area. I'm like, what's going on? Like, that was an accidental touch. I didn't mean to touch it, but, the fewer bezels or the less bezelish a phone is, like, you're going to touch the screen. And if you touch the screen, the phone may believe you are interacting with it legitimately, but you may not be interacting with it legitimately. So a literal area where I think bezels are useful is in the area of holding your device, which you probably do. So chins and foreheads. They're off-putting. I don't see them. You have to see them. They're right there. Not really, because I'm looking at the screen. They're part of the screen. Yeah, but they're not the part of the screen that actually you use. Actually. So, pardon as we're having two separate conversations. I don't see the value in eliminating them, apart from maybe, getting more screen, and that would yield a bigger device, getting more resolution out of it, but certainly not at the cost of sacrificing usability. Pardon as I turn back to the membership board and answer a question from Mario. VTC Productions PC. I like bezels. What I don't understand is why there's a notch at the bottom bezel on some phones. If they add a notch, don't have to add a bottom bezel. I look for congruity, but then again, I appreciate symmetry in my life, and I realize it's really funny because I'm not symmetrical in this video. I gotta accommodate this side and this side here. So they're not that off-putting, and so I've seen, and granted, some reviews have come out for newer devices, and what I see inevitably when people are talking about new devices are well, the chin is so big, or why is there so much, not forehead, like where the sensor array might be, or the cutout, or the notch, right? Well, you need the notch. I understand. I appreciate having certain features on a device, like a front-facing speaker. Insanely valuable. Cameras. I think we all can agree a front-facing camera is nice to have. Maybe even a certain kind of camera, a special kind of camera, a front-facing camera. Something that may allow you to unlock your device with your face. That's possible, I guess. I mean, you can do it. Yes, absolutely. Do you need that? It's up to you. Do I? Not really. I'm fine with other mechanisms. I will tell you this. If I had a choice between a face unlock or a wider angle selfie camera, I'd take the wider angle selfie camera because I'm the user. Again, this is where I'm the kind of user who takes video. And I've shot video on my smartphone. It's actually really easy to do and very convenient to do when it's possible, whether it's live, whether it's pre-recorded. I like using my smartphone camera if it's at all possible. And a front-facing camera, wide angle, it can make all the difference in the world, for sure. So I personally appreciate that feature, right? Does that mean I would appreciate a notch? No, I believe that you've got to use as much of the phone as is possible, but that does not necessarily mean sacrificing balance, sacrificing usability, or sacrificing software. And this is two different conversations, because I'm telling you, it always boils down to hardware, software, hardware, software, hardware, software. Two different conversations about the same thing. We're looking at the same elephant, people, but we see it differently. So what happens is I look at the device and I see the software. That's it. Everything else melts away. And that's exactly what good software can and should do. The true experience is the software and what the software allows the hardware to do. So when I see, let's say, for example, the Pixel series, and it's got the forehead and the chin. Oh, sorry, watch full screen video on S9 Plus or Note 9, no notch. Okay, you can do that. I don't care. It's up to you. That's just part of it. I can watch plenty of phones, I can watch plenty of phones on phones, plenty of videos on just about any phone, about any pocket computer. It's not, I'm sure there are differences, yes, but hardware, software. So when I see a new phone, that, let's say, some would say has a large bezel on the top and the bottom. an area that can be touched without necessarily impeding any kind of experience, any kind of phone experience. We are, of course, assuming that the phone does not have capacitive buttons built in to a bezel, a chin. That's the way they used to do it. Now it's all software. But people would complain, and I've seen complaints about large chins. Well, why are they there? I'm like, it doesn't bother me. I turn on the phone and I don't see it. And even better, when the phone's off, you really don't see it. So if you're not, watching the software, you're missing the experience, right? You're just looking at this slab of plastic, glass, and whatever the hell they put into it. Silicon. Don't want to forget that. Now, to my credit, for the people who say that these so-called notches aren't as bad when you're watching the phone up close, they're speaking to the experience that I'm speaking to. So I believe that, yes, in experience, that notch melts away. But that's to my point. It's about the software that pulls you in. The software. You have to wrap your head around, sometimes you have to wrap it around what the hardware provides. Where I have an issue is that the hardware is saying, we're going to intrude upon your software experience. That's what the notch does. That's what some would argue a chin or a forehead does, the top and the bottom, or a bezel, a thicker bezel on the sides. But we're sacrificing what? Some usability? For what? More screen? Okay. I don't disagree that at some point we will have nothing but an all-screen phone if phones stick around indefinitely, right? It's going to happen. But right now, why? Well, why are we trying to get rid of these things? I don't know why. I can understand minimizing. That makes sense. Totally makes sense. But at what point do you have to kind of stop and go, whoa, what are we minimizing here and why? Some people have already made the decision. Some people value that hardware more. I value the software experience. I would rather have a better software experience and thicker bezels than a lackluster software experience and less bezels, fewer bezels, whatever. Two different conversations about the same thing. I just don't see them as evil. They melt away every time. So I'd imagine that if I was to use if, it's a big if. My hands are small, but this is big. The if is so big, I cannot even fit it into this video. If I were forced to use a phone that had a notch, a cutout, whatever the hell you want to call it, it's incongruent, and I'm sure it would melt away in day-to-day usability, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to improve the software experience at all. And that's the question for me. Does it improve the software experience? And if the answer is no, then no. So I've already talked about why complaining about a Pixel 3 XL notch is pointless, because you can mitigate it in developer options. So that's done. But then you end up with a thicker thing at the top. Who cares? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't care. Hardware, software. And so I'd be just as fine having the same looking device year after year if it got better. And by the way, earlier reviews suggest it's getting better. I'd have no problem with that whatsoever. At all. I don't care what the device looks like physically. I want to know that it's going to run well and the software experience is going to make everything about that piece of hardware melt away. And you know what? I bet you anything you feel the same way and you don't even know it. Now you may have, I'm just going to, let's go ahead and draw a kind of a corollary here. You probably have a TV, a traditional set, as it were. It's a big screen somewhere, inside your domicile, your home. And you probably bought that screen because of the specs. The color was great, and it had this feature and that feature and the other feature. But you know what? When you're playing your video games on it, or you're watching your Star Wars movies on it, or whatever, do you think about the TV that you're watching it on? When you're enjoying the video that you're watching on the TV, do you think about the television that you're using? I'm guessing if you're a normal person, and let's admit, if you're watching this deeply into the video, you're more like me in the sense that you tend to think about things differently. Not that I'm a consumer electronics fanatic. I'm like up here, and everybody else is going that direction, and I'm driving this way. Not to be a contrarian. right? But I'm just talking about how you deal with technology without even realizing this is how you deal with it. I almost guarantee you don't think every time you turn on that TV, gosh, I am so happy I'm using this brand television and this is the television that I have. No. If you're actually watching it for entertainment, you're enjoying the entertainment. This is honestly, this is probably why I've been okay and have had 720p TVs. When 4K displays were out, I was still watching TV on a 720p HD 720p display, a plasma screen. Was it super high quality? No, but I was enjoying the shows. Could I upgrade? Yeah. Could the picture be sharper? Sure. But would I enjoy it more? I question that. Possibly, yeah. But that's a law of diminishing returns for me. I don't care what screen I'm watching a video on. I'm watching a video on a screen. Is it viewable? Yes. Can I hear the video? Yes. The hardware works, but if you're paying attention, you just stop paying attention. To the hardware itself, because the software, the entertainment of the device, if you will. Okay, and hopefully you guys are with me here in terms of that trying to draw an example that's not about smartphones. I have the same feeling about some tablet computers. Some people believe that bezels are too thick on tablets, and I agree. When you're talking about something that's not a touchscreen device or a slate type of experience, but if you're talking about a device that you need to like pick up and hold in your hand, say one of these whatevers, the value is often what is this device capable of doing for you, not what it is. Yes, what it is will help you do more things differently, sure. But the bezels are important because this is a device that you're going to hold. So you want to make sure you can hold it without interacting. Now, this is where software could come in and does. Sometimes it'll detect, accidental touches. And if it handles that very, very well, then there's no problem. The problem is I guess I've had experiences where it was an accidental touch, but it registered as a touch, and I couldn't tell the computer, hey, that was an accidental touch. Because the bezels weren't there. Right? I couldn't, there was nothing necessarily to hold on to without interacting with the screen. Now, it's not that when I hold the phone, I'm holding on to the chin or the bezels, but certainly as I'm holding the device, and I have a case. That's the case. I have no problem buying cases. That's another reason why I'm not. Some people don't want to cover their device. Hey, more power to you. But remember, I'm the kind of guy, I'm like, does the car get me from point A to point B? Yeah, all right. So what other things do I need in a vehicle? Okay. But rarely, if ever, is a question, what does it look like? I don't care. Not my thing. But what does it look like? I don't care. So no, I don't necessarily hold on to the device on both sides, to the bezels. But that doesn't concern me because I'm watching what's on the screen, what's on the visible part of the screen, the illuminated part of the screen. So what's the point in minimizing? Yes, saving costs, certainly. Saving, maximizing screen resolution, absolutely. But sacrificing software? No, that should never be done. Nikolay Lukianov, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. And welcome to new member SSGS Trunks. You'll be able to join the Discord chat as well. This is a live video of the live chat during the live broadcast. In case you're wondering, you could actually join this video or have joined it if you tuned in live. Turn on notifications. So this is how I feel. I don't feel it's a big deal. Like we need to just run from bezels because they're bad. They have a purpose. They have a use. And let me put it this way. For me to have now we're talking about a hardware feature. I am willing to have a chin and a forehead and bezels to be able to have front-facing speakers. Because after having lived with devices that didn't have front-facing speakers, they weren't as enjoyable, honestly. I like front-facing speakers. Now, some people think that they could do without. That's fine. That's great. That happens to be a feature I like, a hardware feature. So in order to have and accommodate that today, and probably indefinitely, because I don't know if you could build it, well, I guess you could build it behind the glass. I'm sure they'll be able to figure it out eventually. Oh, technology, it's always advancing. But that to me is just part of the experience, right? But it melts away. It doesn't get in, the hardware feature doesn't get in the way of the software. The bezels melt away. You just don't see them. The chin should, if the device was worth anything, melt away. There are other devices that do have better speakers than certain other devices. They have large bezels to accommodate a feature. Is that a problem? Absolutely not. I don't view it as a problem at all. At all. Bezels aren't bad. Chins aren't evil. I seem to be the only person who believes that, though. So it makes me wonder. I mean, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about most of you all seemingly having this conversation with me. And I'm like having this conversation. So you can complain about those things all you want. I'm like not, I hear you, but I'm not, you're talking to the wrong guy. You're complaining about something that you must care about, but I think you're completely missing the value or the reason for one of them to exist. Certainly, if it means not sacrificing the software experience, that can't be mitigated in the software. That some manufacturers have done, Android manufacturers, have mitigated the idea of the notch by effectively blacking out the background with the area that flanks the so-called notch or display cutout. One reviewer called the new Pixel notch a bathtub. Yeah, but I believe that the cutout takes up less area than the traditional iPhone X notch. Welcome, Liam. Thank you for becoming a member. You can start chatting right away. But it's that quick. It's integrated. I love this stuff. Over the weekend, by the way, we picked up a few new members, and I believe now we are at 88 members. 2 more and we're at 90. 12 more and we hit 100 members, which is astounding to me. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. Everything I see is of course going a solid direction, but I question what the conversation is, and I just wanted to reshape it, or at least set some expectations so that, I'm not having this conversation. I'm having this conversation. In the bezels, in the chins, and the foreheads do not bother me a single bit. They don't. Even if they don't need to exist, they don't bother me because I'm using a device for the software. The software enables me to use the device. The device itself, and when the screen's off, they all look the same. They all work the same. When the devices are off, they all work the same. And a key differentiator, for me is always going to be in software and quality control. So whatever it's worth, we've got a pretty good ratio going on. Hey, Samuel. And when I say ratio, I'm talking about in terms of the people who are able to tune in live right now and the people who are supportive members of the community. It's about 50% right now, which is super high. Way, way, way high. That's amazing to me. It's astounding. Did I miss anything, everyone, back here? I was trying to keep everything on topic, and that would be about bezels and chins, because everyone seems to want to talk about it. It seems to be in every other comment. And you know what? Despite me telling you what I feel about this and feeling like I just don't care, and that I don't think they're evil, and that they do serve a purpose, and they are largely invisible when you start using the device, when it's a congruent experience. When it becomes an incongruent experience like a notch, that's where I have an issue, because the hardware is getting in the way of the software experience. I hopefully stayed on topic. I don't think I missed anything. I was trying to keep an eye on the chat behind me, but I didn't see too many comments on the bezel, which is good. Seems like I've now covered it well enough that no one had anything to add. Trust me, I'm thrilled. Though I do know I am going to have to give you guys something else to comment on if you get to this deep point in the video. Chris, shifting to more important things. AT-AT popcorn buckets are available again. Hoping to pick one up for you next weekend. Yes, Chirag, please. I didn't get one last time. I want the AT-AT popcorn bucket. It's a Disneyland exclusive. Oh, I can't wait. I'm very excited for that. We have the TIE Fighter one. That was kind of interesting. I guess if I collected anything vehicle-wise, the AT-AT That's cool. And that absolutely, I'm in. Sign me up. Let's do this. So if you made it this far into the video, I need you to leave a comment. Let's see here. What's something? So what was the first one? I can't even remember. You guys remember? You commented. But if you made it this far and you're actually listening to the things that I'm saying before you spout off and thinking you know exactly what's going on, let's go with. I'm just looking at things, looking for random words. That's how muddled my brain is. That was part of it. Toothpaste something. Toothpaste pancake is what I said before. So let's go with two other random. You guys give me two other random words, please. I can't think. This whole Bezel thing has got me verklempt. I'm like all emotional. Ah! Someone chose a different smartphone than mine. Ah! How about fancy gremlin? Fancy gremlin. That's what you have to. That's the second comment you have to leave. Fancy gremlin. Unless, of course, you're watching on a TV. Can't easily leave comments at that point. But I'm guessing the video kind of disappeared and you forgot about the TV you were using. And as soon as I say, hey, remember the TV you're using? You look at the TV and go, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm using that television. Yeah, I remember. I remember getting that. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm watching the video on that phone. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm using that phone. I forgot I was using that phone. I forgot. I never pick up a device saying, I'm using an iPhone. I just jump in and do the thing I'm trying to do. Thinking less about the hardware and more about the experience. That's the conversation. I'm going this way. That's a conversation I'm having. I don't know what conversation you're having. But if you'd like me to cover another topic, happy to. More than happy to do it tomorrow. Controversial or not. Not that Bezel should be all that controversial. But I've got a few ideas about the things I want to map out this week for the live TLDR broadcasts, as well as some of the very exclusive written content. I've got some essays that are brewing in my head. Things I will be giving to the YouTube members here of my channel, as well as sharing with the subscribers of my email newsletter at chrispirillo.com. And then also to patrons. We still have patrons, so they get that exclusive content to boot. Access to the Discord chat through YouTube membership, and I wouldn't be able to do what it is I'm doing now without it. So I appreciate that you wanted me to talk, and I appreciated that you wanted to listen. I'm going to move on and say that I appreciate you in general, and I love you. And at this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. May the Force be with you.